Hello and welcome to this lesson in which we're going to make our poster number 4 and keep exploring the blend tool. As always, I have the template ready and my swatches panel with the colors I'm going to use. I won't say enough that if you organize well the workspace, you'll save loads of time. I hide my template and create behind it the layer for my poster. I start, as always, to create a rectangle for the background, though this time I'll leave it white for now. That's because I don't know what color the background should be yet, and I want to wait for the main motif to be finished to see how I solve it. I'm going to lock the background so it doesn't bother me using Ctrl 2 or Command 2 if you're on a Mac. In last lesson, we were using the blend tool creating gradients between objects with flat colors, but we can go further and create blends between objects with gradients. So let's see it. I'm going to create 3 circles that will be filled with different gradients. The first one will have these 2 colors. The second will be filled with a different gradient. And the third one with another gradient. Now we'll create a blend between these 3 elements. As you can see, we generated a gradient between gradients, which is richer in complexity, and we can even say it has a near 3-dimensional aspect. Now I'm going to draw a path. The goal is for this blend we created here to follow the line of the path we just drew. We can achieve this by selecting both the path and the blend and then looking into the options of the blend tool in the object menu. As you can see, we have different options for the blend tool. If we use the option Replace Spline, the blend we created will automatically follow the path. If we see the number of steps set is not enough, we can just adjust it as we already know the process. You have to consider that the more steps, the more work your computer has to do, so it would be convenient for you to choose a number of steps enough for the gradient to be smooth, but not too high in order for Photoshop not to slow down. The maximum step number for each blend is 1000. If your path is too long and 1000 steps are not enough, you just have to break down the blend into several blends. Other options we have in the blend menu are reverse front to back, in which back would become front and vice versa, and the option reverse spline, which would switch the direction of the blend. Toying around with these 2 options, we can solve the kind of defects that could be generated from the overlap of the different blends. It's also worth mentioning that both the stroke as well as the elements with which we formed the blend are still perfectly editable, so I can access the blend double-clicking it and once inside modify any element. Alright, so now I have the main element ready. Now I'm thinking I could add a shadow. I could do this by just drawing an ellipse with a black radial gradient that varies its opacity. With the aid of the gradient tool, I'll adjust the eccentricity of the ellipse. And using the appearance panel, I'll adjust opacity. Okay, now's the time to deal with the background. So I'm going to unlock the rectangle I created at the beginning of the lesson. I think from the results I'm seeing that a soft gradient would be a good match for it with blue tones. So I'm going to create a gradient and I'll make some tests with the tool to see which configuration I like best. Well, I think this could be nice. Since I'm using global colors, I can toy around with them and modify them until I find a combination that I like. So I'm going to adjust them and see how it looks. Last, I'm going to add some grain to the background from the appearance panel. Finished! Now I can make the template visible and modify the details and the colors. I hope you enjoyed the possibilities the Blend tool has to offer, and in our next poster, we'll explore the Mesh tool, which just like the Blend tool provides loads of possibilities.